निर्भर भारत. Atmanirbhar Bharat.
I'll share my screen, sir.
1 minute, I'll allow. Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Today's topic is Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat. What is Atmanirbhar Bharat exactly? Atmanirbhar Bharat, which translates to self-reliant India, is a phrase used and popularized. Can you see me, ma'am?
No, not now. You can share it once again.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Atmanirbhar Bharat, which translates to self-reliant India, is a phrase used and popularized by the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, and the Government of India in relation to the economic vision and economic development in the country. In this context, the term is used as an umbrella concept in relation to making India a bigger and more important part of the global economy. Pursuing policies that are efficient, competitive, and resilient, and being self-sustaining and self-generating. The phrase has been used by Modi ji since 2014 in relation to the national security, poverty, and digital India. The aim of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is to make the country and its citizens independent and self-reliant in all senses. Atmanirbhar Bharat will make India self-reliant by creating an ecosystem that will allow Indian companies to be highly competitive on the global stage. Atmanirbhar Bharat Scheme. Atmanirbhar Bharat Scheme, a self-reliant India campaign, is a vision of New India envisaged by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi on 12th May 2020. Our Prime Minister raised a clarion call to the nation, giving a kickstart to the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan and announced a special economic and comprehensive package of 20 lakhs crores Indian rupees, equivalent to 10% of India's GDP, to fight COVID-19 pandemic in India. The government took several bold reforms, such as supply chain reforms for the agriculture, rational tax system, simple and clear laws, capable human resources, and strong financial system. The 5 pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat: economy, infrastructure, system, vibrant demography, demand. The 5 phases of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Phase 1, businesses including MSMEs. Phase 2, poor including migrants and farmers. Phase 3, agriculture and agricultural workers. Phase 4, new horizons of growth. Phase 5, government reforms and enablers. Highlights of the scheme: rise in borrowing limits. With the relief package, state government has now a rise in their borrowing limits. The increase is from 3% to 5% of the gross state domestic product for the annual year 2020 and 2021. In this way, state have extra resources to spend on healthcare, employment, and infrastructure. One nation, one ration card. The universalization of ration card will enable migrant workers and their families to access public distribution benefits from any fair price shop in the country. They will get the food grains at subsidized rates. Privatization of public sector enterprises. Under this new PSE policy, the government may likely privatize its public sector enterprises. The purpose of such an initiative is to improve the efficiency and probability of PSEs. Collateral-free business loan. All businesses such as MSMEs, agriculture, and allied sectors can get a collateral-free automatic loans. It gives a financial cushion to several businesses and encourages entrepreneurs to produce maximum goods and services within the country. Atmanirbhar project pros and cons. Advantages. Liquidity infusion and direct cash transfers into the account of laborers and daily wage earners are helpful for their survival during the lockdown. Long-term modification in critical sectors keep them globally competitive and attractive. Substantial growth in the e-commerce industry. Boost in the supply chain logistic industry. Lots of employment opportunities soon in the country. Reduction in scarcity of medical supplies and food grains. Disadvantages. 1. Due to less competition in the market from the foreign products, quality of the produce may decline. 2. If not regulated properly, it may lead to monopoly in the market, and monopoly leads to disaster. 3. Increasing trade tariff may upset other countries, and they also impart huge tariff retrospectively. 4. The government does not open various sectors to private enterprises or privatize laws making PSU. India's manufacturing sector will become further uncompetitive. Long-term benefit of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan promoted various innovations and new products development in India. By this, import of India will decrease and export will increase. Thus, in the long run, our trade deficit will reduce. Export promotions will help us save foreign currency and earn more foreign currency. Atmanirbhar Bharat package will help in growing Indian small and medium enterprises, and the manufacturing sector will flourish. This program will help in achieving 5 trillion economy vision of the Indian government. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you, Aditi. You have collected a lot of information. Now I will put a question to Vishnu. What do you understand by the presentation of Aditi? In summary, you tell me in 2-3 sentences.
Sir?
Vishnu?
Yes, sir.
What do you understand by the presentation of Aditi? You have not followed.
Yes, sir.
You are worried about your presentation, but you never bothered about her presentation. Yashini, have you heard her?
Yes, sir, about Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Tell me something. Tell me something. What is Atmanirbhar Bharat? Is it yoga practice?
No, sir.
What is Atmanirbhar Bharat? What do you understand by that word? Self-sufficient.
Self-reliant.
Self-reliant. That is the motto. And how much money has been allocated? Any idea? Have you heard her presentation?
20 lakh crores.
Huh?
20 lakh crores.
20 lakh crores, which is the highest amount. And it is 10% of the GDP. That is also these 2 points you please mention. And there are some examples of Atmanirbhar Bharat. You please note down. To come out of this corona virus, this scheme has been developed. And Government of India is spending about 20 lakh crores in different fields. And there are some people who have been benefited by this scheme. Number one, Mr. Asta Mehta, a 12-year girl, designed an innovative wristwatch to help the senior citizens. So our Yashwini, Aditi, or Sneha and Vishnu, they can also do an innovative idea. You must note down her name, Asta Mehta. A 12-year girl designed an innovative wristband to help the senior citizens. Suppose if they have a BP rise, or if they are suffering from any disease of mental ill health, it will control and it will inform the doctor. This wristband. Normally, you might have seen the wristband which people wear. It will count your BP, it will count your pulse rate, and it will tell you how many steps you have taken in that day, during that day, and it maintains your medical health also. This is the wristwatch. Similar wristband, this girl, Asta Mehta, has prepared, and she got the innovative prize. And then another woman, Pratibha Krishnaiah, she is an engineer. She transformed the face of the remote mountains. You can't go to mountains frequently and you can't explore the mountains. But this lady, being an engineer, she was able to transform the face of that entire mountaineering area. So this is also another name, Pratibha Krishnaiah. In this Atmanirbhar component, if you go and switch on that tag, you will be getting all the details of these girls and all these people who are engaged in that particular field. Then comes one Mr. J. Krishna. He is a daily wage worker. He is a normal coolie. He spent all his life savings for the needy people. This is a very charitable thing because he was only a coolie. He might have got 250 rupees or 300 rupees per day. And throughout his life, he has saved, say, about 1 lakh or 1.5 lakhs. But that amount he has spent on the needy people by giving them food, by giving them clothes, by giving them shelter. So it was a unique representation of a man who was able to spend his money, life-saving money, on the needy people. This is also called as Atmanirbhar Bharat. Then comes one Mr. Ju Keshari, teenager, a small teenager. He developed an innovative device that was also appreciated by the Prime Minister. You just go to My Government and then you will get all the details of this Atmanirbhar Bharat. People who have developed innovative ideas and who have developed innovative things, which has created an atmosphere of Atmanirbhar Bharat. That is the thing. Now we will go to Yashwini said she will do it tomorrow. Vishnu has prepared. So Vishnu and then Sneha.
Sneha also wants to do it tomorrow, sir.
No problem. No problem. Let us listen to Vishnu. Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, yes. It's visible. Go ahead, Vishnu.
Yes. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. And good evening, everyone. Today, I'm going to present you about prosperity of Telangana. Before knowing about prosperity of Telangana, it is important to know about Telangana. Telangana is the state in India situated on the south central stretch of Indian Peninsula on the High Deccan Plateau. It is 11th largest state in terms of area and 12th most populated state in India. On 2nd June 2014, the area was separated from the northwest part of Andhra Pradesh as new state formed with its capital Hyderabad. Telangana is bordered by the states Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. Economy of Telangana. Telangana is one of the fast growing states in India with an average annual growth rate of 13.90% over the last 5 years. Telangana nominal gross state domestic product for the year 2020 and 21 stands at 12.5 lakh crore. Service sector is the largest contributor of Telangana's economy with a share of 65% in the year 2019 and 18 and 19. Growth of services has largely fueled by IT services with the state holding leading position in IT. Agriculture is also backbone of Telangana's economy. Two important rivers of India, Godavari and Krishna, flow through the state, providing irrigation. Farmers in Telangana mainly depend on rain-fed water sources for irrigation. Rice is the major food crop. Other important crops are cotton, sugarcane, mango, and tobacco. There are many multi-state irrigation projects in development, including Godavari River Basin projects. The state has also started to focus on the fields of information technology and biotechnology. There are 68 special economic zones in the state. Telangana is mineral-rich state with coal reserves at Singareni collieries. Agriculture. Rice is the major food crop and staple food of the state. Other important crops are tobacco, mango, cotton, sugar. Agriculture has been the chief source of income for the state economy. Important rivers of India like Godavari, Krishna flow to the river. Apart from the major rivers, there are small rivers like Tungabhadra, Dindi, Manjira, Maner, Penganga, Pranahita, Peddavagu, and etc. There are multi-state irrigation project development, including Godavari River Basin Irrigation Projects and Nagarjuna Sagar Dam. Industries. Several major manufacturing and service industries are in operation, mainly found around Hyderabad. Automobiles and auto components industries, spices, mines and minerals, textiles, pharmaceutical industries, poultry farming are the main industries in Telangana. In terms of services, Hyderabad is usually nicknamed as Cyberabad due to its IT and location of major software industries in India. In the city. Tourism. Telangana State Tourism Development Corporation is a state government agency which promotes tourism in Telangana. Telangana has a variety of tourist attractions, including historical places, monuments, forts, waterfalls, forests, and temples. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishnu. You have collected good information. We can expand it regarding Cyberabad. Particularly, Hyderabad has become a very, very big cyber country and a place for the software engineers. Next to Bangalore, it is Hyderabad. And Hyderabad has been developed over the years. For the last 10 years, it has grown up like anything. Earlier, when you go to the Jubilee Hills or Madhapur or Kondapur, there was only rocky hills. But during the last 10, 15 years, it has become a Cyberabad. As we have mentioned, we have become the #1 state or #1 city for the cyber engineers. And more than 10 lakhs people are employed in the software industry. And most of the engineers, most of the people depend upon the software industry. And another thing which you can mention is regarding Yadadri. KCR is very particular in developing this Yadadri temple on par with the Tirupati. Tirumala is the biggest and largest money earning temple through Hundi. KCR now wants to spend about 100 crores. He has already spent, and it has become a very popular tourist place now. And by March 22nd, he has fixed the date for the inauguration of the temple also. That is Kumbhabhishekam. Only 2 days back, he has announced the Kumbhabhishekam time. And he is expecting Prime Minister and President of India to visit the particular auspicious day. So these two tourist places, which you have also mentioned, it has become a hub of tourist activities. And South Central Railway headquarters also is in Secunderabad. That is also another important place. When Andhra was divided on 2nd June 2014, they didn't have the benefits of Telangana. The distribution of states, Telangana and Andhra into two, and Andhra has become with 13 states, 13 districts, and Telangana with 10, but KCR made them into 31. That is also another important thing which he has made. By decentralizing the power and making a self-sufficient district, it has become a very popular populace of the people. So people also wanted the country and the development of the district in a particular way. And now the district collectors are managing the 31 districts. As you said, rice also is the important thing, and commercial crops are also expected to be in front. And we will be expecting Telangana, as KTR has already said in several meetings, he is the man who is behind the entire Telangana government and the prosperity of this. He is the Minister for Industries, he is Minister for Municipal Administration, and he is the man behind all the prosperity. So Vishnu, you have done a very good, important thing. And you have mentioned that Telangana comes as a 12th populous state. That also is an important thing. And Hyderabad is almost like a southern capital of India, there was a proposal to have a separate Supreme Court bench in Hyderabad. And there was a proposal to make it as a southern solace. And the Rashtrapati Nilayam is there. The President of India, every summer, he comes and stays there in Bolaram for 10 days. And it has become a regular practice from British India also. So when we moved from Nizam government to Vishalandhra, it became a state in 1st November 1956. And from then we moved on to 2014 to be divided into 2 states. And each state has become its own important place. Vishnu have presented it very well. Now we move on to the other 2 girls, they will present tomorrow. Now I will tell you some important points. Every day I ask you to read the newspaper. How many of you have read the newspaper for the last 3 days? Vishnu, have you read the newspaper?
No, sir.
No. Yashwini?
No, sir.
Why? It is not available or you doesn't find time? You should make it a practice to read the newspaper at least for half an hour. Then only you will be able to crack. Because it is your food. As you are taking 2 lunches, 1 lunch and 1 dinner and 1 breakfast, it should be part of your food. You should read the newspaper for at least 30 minutes. Then you will be able to compare the entire nation, international events, the place of importance, and all the things which happened during the last 24 hours. You take Hindu, you take Enadu, or whatever paper is available to you. Or if no paper is available, you go to Google, you search for the news item, then you will be able to get the information. Anyhow, next week when I ask you about some questions on the newspaper headings, at least you should be able to know the headings. Then you note down the 100% vaccination, 100 crore vaccination, 1 billion, which we have reached. That is a very, very, very big achievement by Government of India. That Modi government has done a wonderful thing. You please note down some important points. Covaxin and Covishield and Sputnik, these are the important medicines which are used for the vaccination. But the Covaxin is yet to win the World Health Organization emergency approval. You please note down that word, emergency approval. WHO, it is the body which controls the entire world's health organization. And they give importance for the emergency rules of the pandemic. So during this pandemic, when Corona has given a shaky thing for the entire world, they have given some guidelines. They have given some protocol. And with the WHO pre-qualification or emergency use listing, suppose if some pandemic has happened and you want to introduce a new medicine, the approval of WHO is more important. The Director General of WHO, he gives the directions. Here, particularly in this case of Bharat Biotech International. Where is Bharat Biotech International? Any idea? Where is Bharat Biotech?
Shamshabad.
Yeah, it's in Hyderabad. Hyderabad, that much we can know. Yella, Krishna Yella, he is the person who is heading that. And they have prepared this Covaxin and it has been approved by Government of India and other countries also, they have accepted it. And it is now moving according to the procedure. So it has 3 phases. It goes by phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And the Indian government's haste in pushing through the process is only adding for the delay by WHO. WHO has not yet finally given the concurrence or approval for the Covaxin. But Indian government, it has on its own because it is an indigenous one. And we have prepared the medicine and 100 crore doses have been given. What is the population of our country?
133 crores.
135 or 134, whatever it is. Out of this 134, 100 crore doses. That means about 60 crores of first vaccine and 40 crores of second vaccine has been given, and total comes to 100 crores. It is a recordable and it is an enlargement of our indigenous thing. Then WHO has raised some more questions to this Bharat Biotech. They said, what is the priority which you have taken? How much doses you have prepared? Like that, some questions are there. And the government of India also is supporting this Bharat Biotech. And who is waiting for the additional information from this Bharat Biotech? The approval is necessary to export to the other countries, because it is in our India, we have given the Covaxin. But if you have to import the Covaxin, that needs WHO approval, and it is waiting. It is approved as a public health emergency, and that emergency has been now fulfilled. The WHO emergency, they use the listing procedure that phase 1, the preparedness is the phase 1. You please note down. It is in 3 phases. Phase 1 is preparedness. Phase 2 is emergency. Phase 3 is post-listing plan. These 3 stages, Covaxin has already completed these 3 phases. This is the important thing which you have to note. Number 1 point, which is a very important current affair during the last 1 week. Then comes the second one, Udan. Can Vishnu or Yashwini, can you tell what is this Udan? Yashwini, can you tell what is Udan?
I don't know, sir.
Huh? You do not know. Sneha? Sneha, what is Udan? What is the word Udan in Hindi?
Fly.
Fly, yeah. This is meant for, the word it is Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagarik Scheme. That is, in abbreviation, it is Udan. To enhance the connectivity to the remote regional areas of the country and making air travel affordable. Even for a common man also, he should be able to go to a smaller place, and which is a regional center. It is the center's national civil aviation policy, which was launched in 2010. Then 2016. And the subsidized fares are there. The rates compared to Air India and other domestic carriers, this is a very less fare. And the participating countries and companies are provided certain amount of viability gap funding by the center and the state government. That is why the aviation center, which is operating particularly of that area, they will have a subsidized rate, jointly funded by the center and the state government. The scheme will run for 10 years. It started in 2016 and it will run for another 10 years, 5 years. Now 21 we have completed. The total routes, you please note down, under this Udan scheme is 766 routes. Government of India has planned to give air viability to 766 routes. And the 4th round has started in 2019. That is only for northeast states and the hill states and islands. And because they are not comfortable for going by air, Andaman, Port Blair and other places, if you want to go, this is very convenient for this Udan. Recently, 2 days back, Kushinagar, have you heard of that word, Kushinagar? Because you have not seen the newspaper, you will not be able to name. It is a place in UP, Kushinagar. There, on the Sharat Purnima day, that is 2 days back, Modi has inaugurated an airport, an international airport at Kushinagar. What is the importance of Kushinagar? Kushinagar is a place where Buddha had the Mahaparinirvan. Mahaparinirvan means he has passed away on that area in Sharad Purnima day. And it is in the eastern UP. It is the third international airport in UP. And the Buddhist tourism orbit, it has become a tourist orbit and an important place, that is Kushinagar, where Buddhist people came for prayers. And the area is well-developed area. And the Buddha attained Mahaparinirvana and ultimate salvation in 483 BC. You please note down. Buddha attained Mahaparinirvana in 483 BC. It was Kushinara. The original name was Kushinara of ancient Malla Republic, which was one of the 16 Mahajanapadas. In Buddhist scriptures, you use the word Mahajanapadas, and it is a very big place, and it was ruled by 6th century rulers. The area went on to the part kingdom of Marvas, Sungas, Kushus, Kushans, and Guptas. And finally, Harshavardhana was the ruler. You have heard in the history, our Mahapatra Sahib has told you about Harshavardhana. This Kushanagar was there a prominent place. The 6-meter-long statue of reclining Buddha. Reclining Buddha is in a sleeping mode. Buddha is there in a reclining position, and it is known as Shaina Murti. When we go to Govindaraja temple in Tirupati, or we go to Thiruvananthapuram Anantapadmanabha Swami, or you go to Srirangam of Sri Ranganatha Swami, they are in a reclining position. Whereas Venkateswara in Tirupati is in a standing position. So here, Buddha in Kushinagar is in a reclining position. It has been unearthed. The statue was there underground, and it was unearthed in 1876. You please note down that also. And it is one of the fewer places where Buddha is in a reclining position. Otherwise, reclining, he is in a sitting posture in Padmasana. But here, he is in a reclining position. And the importance of this particular area to become an international airport is, it will become a world-class tourist facilitating center. And in 2016, Ministry of Tourism announced a Buddhist circuit, the first transnational circuit for Nepal, Sri Lanka, and India. Bodh Gaya, Vaishali, Rajgir in Bihar, and Kushinagar, Sarnath, and Shravasti in UP, and Lumbini in Nepal. This is the circuit. I think we have completed 40 minutes time span. Madam?
Yes, sir.
Can we switch over?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah, we can stop it and again join back, sir.
Nay, you can take over?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have one more thing to tell them. I will tell in 5 minutes, and then you will switch on.
Yes, sir.
We'll come back and...
Yes, sir. Please join again.